Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Box Office Talk. This is the show where I break down what happened at the box office, see if my predictions for the top 5 are correct, then make predictions for next week's top 5. So let's get right on into it. Last week, I predicted the number 1 would be Bad Boys for Life, number 2 would be Gretel and Hansel, number 3 would be 1917, number 4 would be The Rhythm Section, and number 5 would be Doolittle. And once again, I only got 1 out of 5 of my predictions right, and of course, once again as well, it was the most obvious prediction that I could have gotten right. That would be Bad Boys for Life coming in at number 1, making $17 million, adding to a domestic total of $148 million. Worldwide, it is sitting at $290 million. Not only is that $10 million away from getting to $300 million worldwide, but it has officially outgrossed Bad Boys 2 domestically and worldwide. So now it is officially the highest grossing Bad Boys film, which is obviously great. You know that this is the only Bad Boys movie I like, so I'm happy that it was able to take the crown away from a movie that I don't like. And I know that they have officially announced that they're going to be moving forward with another Bad Boys movie. And, you know, if it's in the same kind of quality vein as this movie was, and maybe even better, then I'm honestly all for that. And I'm so happy that this movie is having a great financial gain success because of them actually putting in the effort this time to make a good movie, because I think that's what's really pushing it over from the other two Bad Boys movies as far as how much money it's making. Number 2, once again, was 1917, making $9 million, adding to a domestic total of $119 million. Worldwide, it is sitting at $249 million. Last week, I kind of touched on how it was going to soon outgross Road to Perdition, and it did. Now it's just $11 million behind American Beauty domestically, which I think will definitely be happening. And then worldwide, it's $107 million behind American Beauty. Now, if it does get $107 million very soon, then I think that's a very it has a very good chance of outgrossing American Beauty. That is a pretty high number, though, as far as like the numbers are now starting to decrease for this movie, but it's had a really great staying power, and since the Oscars are literally a week away, it could potentially add on as far as the box office success goes, and they could outgross American Beauty both domestically and worldwide, but I think domestically is a very sure thing. I think we'll be seeing that happening literally next weekend. Number 3, once again from last weekend, was Doolittle, making $7 million, adding to a domestic total of $55 million, and worldwide it is sitting at $126 million, so it's at least surpassed the $100 million limit worldwide. It's still nowhere close to its initial production budget of $175 million, and it's definitely nowhere near to doubling that, which would be like $350 million, so it's still slowly collecting money, but it's not going to lead anywhere good for them, especially since they've sunk a lot into this. I don't think the negative reception obviously helped, but I think the behind-the-scenes drama probably kind of hurt this movie too. A lot of people probably lost a lot of faith in this one as well. Number 4, we have Gretel and Hansel, which is the director Oz Perkins' highest grossing and highest opening weekend film, but then again, his other two, one of them is a Netflix movie and the other was in very, 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 very limited release, so it's not really saying much. It made $6.05 million this weekend on a budget of $5 million, so maybe a worldwide total can come in soon and help get to that doubling point of $10 million, which I think for sure, like domestically, it probably will surpass the $10 million limit. I think it's definitely going to happen there, but worldwide numbers wouldn't hurt too. It helps that this movie's budget is relatively very low, though, and although I didn't really think it was a good movie, and a lot of audiences on like Rotten Tomatoes' audience score and cinema score aren't really liking it, hey, at least it got some money to its name. It's not a complete flop. At number 5, we have The Gentleman, making $6.01 million, adding to a domestic total of $20 million, and worldwide it is sitting at $48 million. Now, the budget came in finally through Wikipedia, and it says it's listed at $22 million, which is much less than the $50 million that I predicted, and that's great because it has doubled that $22 million budget. Since the worldwide total is sitting at $48 million, it got $4 million over that doubling point, so that's very good for Guy Ritchie and the people behind this movie. Domestically, it's $10 million away from outgrossing Snatch, and worldwide, it's $41 million away from outgrossing Snatch. Now, domestically, I think for sure will happen. Worldwide, maybe a little iffy since it's dropping a little bit, but we'll honestly have to wait and see because that number is low enough that it could potentially outgross Snatch. It's not like it's $107 million away from Snatch like the 1917 comparison I was doing earlier. Like, it's actually relatively close enough that they could maybe outgross that, so we'll just have to wait and see how that's doing. But still, I'm very happy that this movie, though it's a minimal success, I'm just really happy that it did double its budget nonetheless, and it's about to get to $500 million worldwide. Number 6, we have Jumanji: The Next Level, making $6 million, adding to a domestic total of $291 million. That's $9 million away from getting to $300 million domestically, which is obviously really great. Worldwide, it is sitting at $746 million. Now, of course, I've been doing this for the past couple videos, and I'm not sure why I'm going to continue to do this, but until it leaves the top 10, I'm just going to say how far away it is financially from Welcome to the Jungle. Domestically, it's $113 million away, and worldwide, it's $218 million away. Once again, I don't know why I keep telling you guys this, because there's no way it's going to outgross Welcome to the Jungle at this point, but I still think it's a really neat thing to point out that slowly it is kind of dropping those numbers as far as the distance between them, and although it won't get as close as maybe they wanted, it is really interesting to at least see it continue to kind of thrive here in the top 10 after 2 months of it coming out. Number 7, we have Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, same position from last week if I remember correctly, making $3.1 million, adding to a domestic total of $507 million. Worldwide, it is sitting at $1.058 billion. Domestically, it's $25 million off from outgrossing Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, but I think now the domestic income has dropped down so much that it won't do that. Worldwide, though, it has already made $2 million over Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, and it is now $274 million behind Star Wars The Last Jedi, which I also don't think will outgross at this point in time. I think it's dropped off worldwide and domestically low enough as far as its income goes that it'll only get close, but it won't be able to outgross the other films in the chart there. Number 8, we have The Turning, making $3.05 million, adding to a domestic total of $11 million, and worldwide it is sitting at $14 million. So hey, they reached their initial production budget of $14 million. It didn't leave the top 10 like I kind of guessed it would. It wasn't a for sure guess, but it was something that I said I wouldn't be surprised if it did drop out of the top 10 entirely because no one was really liking this movie. I'm honestly kind of surprised, although it did drop off by more than 50% from last weekend's opening, I am kind of surprised that it didn't make less, I guess, so good for them. It's still not going to double its $14 million budget, but hey, it's not a complete failure, sorta. Number 9, we have Little Women making $3.01 million, adding to a domestic total of $98 million. That's $2 million away from $100 million domestically. It's going to get there very soon, obviously, and worldwide it is sitting at $162 million, so that is wonderful. Obviously, it has just now quadrupled its $40 million budget, which is outstanding. Obviously, I have nothing really much to add to this movie other than I'm so happy for its success. And now closing out the video, number 10, the rhythm section. I thought for sure this would at least get into the top 5 because the numbers were dropping off for the other movies, and this might be able to squeak in because of the promos. Nope, it only made $2 million this weekend on a budget of $50 million, and there's no worldwide total yet, and no chance that this movie can hold over well enough like The Gentleman or even Doolittle, I guess. Even though Doolittle's not a success, it's still holding over fairly well in the top 3, so boo-hoo for this movie that I didn't really get much of an interest in after seeing those trailers like 50 times before every movie. Now it's time for the fun part, the predictions for next week's top 5. Now, normally I try to predict a movie like The Lodge to get into the top 5, but since that's a limited release and I've checked and there's no like tickets available for like any of my nearby theaters, I guess I'm just going to have to predict that it won't get into the top 5 as much as I really want to, because I want to see that movie and I want to see that movie do well, but I don't think it's going to have that kind of release, unfortunately. So number 1, I'm obviously going to go with Birds of Prey. Number 2, Bad Boys for Life. Number 3, 1917. Number 4, Doolittle. And number 5, Gretel and Hansel. But what are your predictions for next week's top 5? Leave them in the comments below, and if you got your predictions right for this week, you're going to get a shout out right now. Unless you didn't get it right, then I'm sorry. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'm Jackson Fulcher. See you guys next time.